Today I'm going to go through how I got my solo British skydiving license with just 8 minutes of freefall. So I'm going to be talking about how I got my skydiving A license last summer, which means I can jump anywhere in the world on my own. You can gain this qualification just with 8 minutes of freefall because there's 8 levels of discipline that you need to do, and then you've got 10 jumps to do after that, which just hone in on your skills. That's the most common way to get your license, and it's called the Accelerated Freefall course, which is abbreviated to AFF, and these 8 levels get incrementally harder as you go along. So each of the first 7 jumps, depending on where you jump from, it's either from 13,000 feet, but luckily up here we can jump from 15,000 feet. And then you deploy your chute at around 5,000 feet. That 8th jump simulates an aircraft emergency, so instead of jumping from 15,000, you'll jump from 6,000, and then as soon as you get stable, you'll pull your chute, and then that'll be, obviously, like I said, simulating having to leave the aircraft early. Each of the first 7 jumps are therefore like 60 seconds of free fall, so you're falling from 15,000 feet to around where you pull, deploy your parachute at between 6,000 and 5,000 feet, and that takes around 60 seconds. And so if you don't fail any levels between 1 to 8, you can obviously get your license with just 8 minutes of free fall, which is quite crazy when you compare it to other disciplines and other sports. Like getting your driving test, you need hours and hours of practice, whereas in terms of skydiving, it's obviously expensive to get that much practice. So all you literally need is that 8 minutes in the air, provided you can put all the skills together, that is. So yeah, as you can imagine, it's pretty expensive, and every time you fail a level, you then have to fork out quite a lot of money to retake it. And luckily I'm extremely tight, so the financial incentive was all I needed to make sure that I nailed everything in the first attempt and didn't retake any. Before you can even start your level 1, you need to do a day of ground training, so that covers everything you need to know and backs you up for any eventuality. So that includes like how to exit the aircraft, how to observe the correct body position when you're leaving the aircraft, how to read hand signals if you need anything to be corrected in terms of your posture, how to read an altimeter so you know how high you are in the jump, and then how to deploy your canopy, how to control your canopy, and then if there's any issues, how to do your reserve drill as well. Level 1, you've got 1 instructor on your right arm and your right leg, they're called your primary instructor, and then you've got 1 instructor on your left arm and your left leg, they're your secondary instructor. After that day of ground training, you're cleared to jump your level 1 as long as you pass the test. So all you really need to do in this jump is make sure you can read your altimeter, and then do 3 practice touches and prove to the instructor that while you're in the air you know how to deploy your parachute, and then deploy it for yourself, and then land your own canopy as well. As you can see, when I was going for my practice touches, I couldn't reach it on the first one, so you can imagine what was going through my head in that moment. I had no idea where it was or how I was going to find it. So then got back, got stable, calmed myself down, and then let the instructor guide me for that second pull, found out where it was, and then on the third one I was like, phew, okay, crisis averted, I'm not going to die. And then yeah, you deploy at 6,000 feet, and then that's the level passed. It's plain and simple. Then level 2 is much easier. You've had that level 1 experience where you know what it's like to jump out of the plane, and so into level 2 you're literally just doing the same thing again, reading the altitude, getting more aware of your surroundings, holding your heading so you know which direction you're facing in, and just starting to take in more information. And then you do again 2 practice touches just to solidify that you know how to deploy your canopy, and just to practice getting more stable in that position as well. Level 3, super easy again, so same as the last jump, but then it's just a single practice touch before you deploy your canopy at about 6,000 feet again. And the reason that 2 and 3 you're not really doing any new skills is because you're just getting used to honing in on that feeling of jumping out of an aircraft for the first time, and obviously it's a lot to take in, and it's just settling those nerves down so that when you start to do the more complicated stuff, you've got that mental bandwidth to take in the new information. So in my level 3, the instructors managed to let go quite a lot, which was nice. It meant I got that feeling of no stabilizers, how I moved in the air, and then cleared for level 4. So level 4 is where stuff actually gets quite difficult. So I was actually quite close to failing this one, as you can see. You actually have to prove you can do a 90-degree turn when you're in free fall, instead of just being as rigid as possible. At this point, you've got to start to relax your arms, relax your legs, and move with the wind rather than just trying to be as stable object falling at 120 miles an hour. What I found from jumps 1 and 3, I actually had quite severe DOMs in like my rear delts and my glutes from how hard I was arching and then how much I was stiffening my arms. So that was a bit of a lesson. Now I obviously don't have that anymore. It's not the correct skydiving form, but learn to just be nice and supple and relax, and then that helps you flow with the wind. So as you can see, I just about get that 90-degree turn at the end, and my instructor was satisfied that I knew what I was doing, and then I could move on to level 5, as I'd nearly failed level 4. I was actually pretty nervous for this one, I remember. Yeah, so up in the air for level 5, I just thought, make sure you relax, do what you've been taught, move properly, and then as you can see, I managed to nail a few 360s, start to build up that confidence. And then just as I was getting towards the end, I tightened up a little bit, started to lose control. So good confidence booster, and got me ready for, and got me cleared for level 6, which was all I needed. So level 6 is actually quite tough as well. So you've got 2 new skills to prove in this one. The first one is a somersault. So you have to tuck your legs in, tilt your head back, and it's going to throw you backwards unstable. Then you have to regain stability again. That's part 1 done. Then part 2 is you've got a track in the air. So a track, you may be aware, is straighten your legs, straighten your arms behind you, and then that allows you to move faster in the horizontal plane, but it also moves you faster in the vertical plane because you've got less air resistance, less surface area. The purpose of a track is to move away from other skydivers, to get you out of danger. So level 6 was where I really started to relax, because I got to practice another couple of turns as well, and then I knew that I had it pretty much locked down. And then level 7 was pretty much basically the same as level 6, except now the instructor's not allowed to touch you at all. If they have to correct you or anything goes wrong, or you run out of time to do turns, then you would fail the level. So previously on level 6, I just needed to do those that somersault on that track, but the turns were optional. Now I need to nail every single thing. So nice clean somersault, nice clean track, and then nice clean turns without being touched by the instructor, and then you're cleared to jump all on your own after 7 jumps. As you can see, I was pretty confident for this one, and everything was pretty much textbook. So that was one of the best moments as well, that moment when you deploy your canopy, you're under canopy, you know you've nailed it, and all that hard work has paid off, because at this point it was almost like a week on the ground waiting for the weather to clear up, waiting for opportunities to get instructed, and then the day of ground school as well. So it was a lot of time and effort that had gone into that moment, and then it's easy after that. So you've got your level 8, which is, like I said, simulating the aircraft emergency. So you just jumping out between 3 to 8 seconds roughly, you're waiting to get stable, and then you're throwing your pilot chute to deploy your canopy. Then, like I said, you're only really audited for the first 8 minutes of jumping, so with an instructor. Then you've got 10 consolidation jumps that you need to do, and all you really need to do in these jumps is not die. There's no extra skills or anything like that. You just need to get down safely, and then you're cleared and you've got your A license. And like I said, the A license then allows you to jump anywhere in the world, but it's only solo jumping. Cool, so that is how you get your skydiving license as quickly and as cheaply as possible. Anything you want to know or ask, then shout me a comment and I'll make sure I reply to everything. But yeah, covered all of that quite briefly, and hopefully that was insightful and interesting. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, see you next time.